Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's lair. I'm your host, Larry, the most delectable Chupacabra man. And we're back again this year to take a look at some coverage of select games from E3 2017. And we're going to start things off with taking a look at the trailer for Anthem. Or at least the gameplay scripted preview for Anthem. And this is a game that really kind of snuck by a lot of people, it looks like. Where, if you were kind of a fan of the sort of post-apocalyptic future of Horizon Zero Dawn with all the robots and a shooter on sort of terms with Bungie's Destiny, then Anthem is probably going to be your go-to. It's an action RPG that involves a lot of cool mech suits, a lot of cool robot dinosaurs and animals and creatures in a hostile alien world where we are playing as a freelancer who has to go out into this world and accomplish different jobs and missions for various entities in order to keep our different towns and cities safe from enemy hostiles. And on the whole, like, not really knowing a lot about this world, not really knowing a lot about the gameplay yet, this is a very cool concept. They've really, Bioware and Frostbyte have really wrapped this game in a lot of glitz, glamour, and delicious, wholly new and unique sci-fi action. Well, not completely unique, but definitely a new IP for them. And, you know, it's really cool. Like, I've always been a fan of things like Iron Man growing up, like anything that had a robot in it, or a mech, or something crazy sci-fi like spaceships, I was always down to clown with, whether that be in like a cheesy Disney show, or in an anime. Like, that was always something I was keen on. And this game looks to have a lot of both of those things in spades. Now, the gameplay for this game looks a lot like, you know, your general purpose shooter, where you've got a lot of different weapons and a lot of different artillery and different items to choose from to customize your gameplay so that you're prepared for just about any encounter, both as a solo player and as a group. But the thing that I'm really liking about that, beyond the sort of generic in the first-person shooter aspect, which even Bioware is pretty much a veteran at stuff like that at this point, because it's such a tried-and-true concepts of, you know, shotguns and mortars and everything, but they're actually including some of your suit's mechanics in some of the cool stuff that you can do. Because if you're in basically an Iron Man suit that has like a bunch of increased strength and increased accuracy, why wouldn't you have like a bunch of really cool like suit abilities? So that's something I'm actually interested in seeing more of. Although it doesn't look like there's a crazy load of things that you can cram into one suit. These javelin suits that they give you, they're really neat, but they certainly limit you to like a certain kit of abilities to try and balance things out, which to me implies that they're probably going to have some type of PvP in it, or some such along those lines, which should be interesting. And I mean, they've got like these crazy alien creatures, these scavengers that live out in the wastes and kill people. I don't know if they're aliens or just people or robots, but there is a certain amount of like lost ruin mechanic in this game. There's always that mystique of like a lost Atlantis or these ancient alien ruins for you to explore. And the setting and the mood and the tone of this game is great. Now, the thing that I'm concerned with is, like, does this game have enough depth? And is BioWare treating like the characters as an integral part of the story, or are they kind of just slapdashing some stuff together around a first-person shooter engine? Because, you know, I've played some Mass Effect Andromeda, which is another BioWare title, and that game's okay at best, I think. It definitely is missing some of that depth of story and environment and universe that the earlier Mass Effects had, which I only played Mass Effect 2 before playing Andromeda. But, you know, this game is something that has a lot of potential if they really give the environment a true, deep story to play in and enjoy and experience and find out some type of, like, old mystery involving this old technology and potentially something sinister to do with the various creatures that you could encounter. And I hope that they really take that idea and run with it. As it stands, it looks like they got a solid, you know, combat engine, but that alone, as we know, will not hold up to scrutiny, especially when they kind of botched the combat engine in a lot of ways for Mass Effect Andromeda. The gameplay and the combat didn't feel very smooth, it felt very janky, you kept getting hung up on things, your abilities didn't feel quite as robust as maybe they should have for crazy, destructive psychic abilities. So I'm hoping this game has those things that it lacks. Now clearly they've shown that there's a lot of drop-in, drop-out, you know, multiplayer mechanics, so you can play with your friends just about anywhere without having to spend a lot of time waiting for them to go and play in their dynamic events, which will definitely be cool.
Hold on a sec.
But again, like, they've got these cool shaper storms, like these maker storms that are gonna do stuff. They have to jump into the eye of the hurricane to go somewhere. And I hope they take that idea and they really run with it, and they don't just leave it as a basic skin-deep concept. Like, I want to see lots of cool alien animals. I want to see lots of different species coming together. I want to see, like, a really deep and maybe hard to understand and mysterious ancient alien technology. Because look at these, just ruins everywhere in this game, and they look flippin' amazing. And that's something that I really liked about, like, say, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, that said, like, I think back to Destiny with a lot of my criticisms of games like this now, and they talk about, you know, large environments to explore. And to me that says make sure that it's an actual environment to explore and not just a really short one, because it's very easy for companies like this to create like a very small map and have it wrap around itself and then just kind of ignore the exploration mechanic that is really integral to games like Horizon or Breath of the Wild, and I really hope that they don't, like, shortchange people on that. And another thing is, like, they talk about these dynamic events that happen in the game that are really interesting, and the only thing I think about is, like, the really cheap, really boring events inside of Destiny that they said would be very, like, random and very, like, occasional, and feel very, you know, meaningful and in-depth, but in reality they were very generic. They were just some aliens showing up with, like, a cool tank. They were very easy to kill, and it was really boring, and I hope that when they do events in this game, it adds to the story, along with the gameplay, and maybe offers you some cool weapons and some different abilities that you can play with that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get if you ignored the events and just went about your day exploring and blasting the faces off of aliens. So yeah, I mean, I like it. It's like there's this crazy high-tech aspect, but everything is kind of like, you know, old school. Everything's kind of run down. We're doing trading in like old school, like tent bazaars at the start of this you know, little preview we're shown. So there's a lot of potential here. So I'm enthusiastic. I'm excited, but I'm tentatively suspicious because BioWare's recent showcase of their game with Andromeda hasn't left me with a load of enthusiasm, because I thought that game was very lackluster. So perhaps this is where all that development time and effort went to that was missing from Andromeda. If so, I hope this is a really good game. I want to go smash people in a mech suit, I'll be honest. There's a bunch of different mech suits that you can pick from. So that'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Those are just my thoughts about the game Anthem that's coming out. If you're curious to watch the trailer slash gameplay trailer for this game, I'm going to be uploading it to the channel separately with links to the original to give credit to BioWare from their presentation at the Xbox event on, you know, at E3 2017. So Untitled, I'm not wording very well today. Until next time, I've been your host, Larry. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody, and have a good one.